Honorable Ditebe, you next.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning to you. Good morning to the honorable members, to the minister, deputy ministers, chairs of our entities, the executives, everyone. Chairperson, I hope that you can see me. I'll switch off my video thereafter. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you. Thank you, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, thank you very much. Thanks to the department and the two entities. Just straight to the department, Chairperson, on the National Water Resource Strategy version 3, the department speaks just of monitoring that particular program. And we know that in government, for example, we have a dedicated department to planning, monitoring, and evaluation. And the reason there is alongside monitoring, evaluation is that the two, monitoring and evaluation, are complementary, but they are distinct in the sense, Chairperson, that the one which is monitoring is continuous. It determines whether we are still on track, etc., while the other one, which is evaluation, determines whether the requisite impact has been achieved with the resources that have been made available. And the reason, Chairperson, I am raising this, and I know that the department may just be, for purposes of brevity, using the word monitoring while actually implying monitoring and evaluation. But I would like us to not simply leave it at that, because if you look at the NWRS version 3, is an important strategy of the department that stretches from now until 2030. Now, meaning therefore that we are left with about 4 years before that strategy review, which means therefore that we need to not simply be happy with the monitoring part of that particular strategy, but also with its evaluation, so that we can look at whether the core goals of that particular department, which are among others are to protect, develop, manage water resources in an equitable manner, dealing with issues of poverty, etc. It's important, Chairperson, that we do not simply use such words as monitoring almost to the exclusion, although I do not think that is the intention of the department. But once they deliberately include the word evaluation, it demonstrates the extent to which they are prepared to show us, both in terms of regular reports that we have or we receive from them, or the annual reports, etc., that not only are they just continuously monitoring what's happening, but are prepared to show us that in terms of the goals of this particular strategy, this is what we have achieved, and this is the impact in communities. That's the first thing that I've observed, which I think needs to be looked at. The other one, Chairperson, relates to the remarks of the minister. Indeed, the Deputy Minister has spoken to the issue of water reliability. It is important that that is followed through, both in terms of refurbishment of infrastructure, and we see quite a number of interventions, both in terms of the original bulk infrastructure grant and the water services infrastructure grant. But there is yet another self-inflicted injury, Chairperson, and that relates to the issue that we all know in this portfolio committee, which is that of the non-payment or irregular or insufficient payment of what is due to our water boards. And we all know the water boards that are in danger because of certain particular water service authorities that are not paying those water boards. Which then brings me to the point, Chairperson, since we last met, I think there was an indication from the side of the ministry that we will be apprised as to whether one of the highly indebted municipalities to one of our water boards, that is Machabeng to the Val Central Water, did indeed finally approve the service level agreement and the payment plan. How much have they paid, if at all, so far? And is it conditional? Is it unconditional? This is important, Chairperson, because part and parcel of our work as members of parliament is to ensure that very monitoring and evaluation. Therefore, from the point of view of monitoring, we need to know, has that been achieved? We can talk about evaluation later, the effect of that particular payment, because as we sit here, there is a problem of water restrictions, not because the water treatment plants that the Val Central Water operates are not performing optimally. Of course, they are under serious strain because of insufficient resources. There is that restriction because, correctly so, the minister had to grant the water utility that permission to restrict water at certain intervals, but it cannot be the norm, Chairperson. So if that could be responded to, I think that is something that would indeed help. The last one, Chairperson, is to the Water Research Commission and perhaps a proposal from our end. Chairperson, if you look at our schools, both in urban and rural areas, I think schools must, be regarded as some of those critical centers or sites which are regarded as providing essential service from the point of view of safe management of sanitation. And the minister has already indicated what the situation is like with regards to the green drop. And I think to the extent that the WRC develops technology and other entities of the state, CSIR, etc., we need to carefully look at whether, in line, of course, with the law and where necessary, this has got to be amended so that government can consume its own IP. Where possible, we can then exempt schools and ensure that they have non-sewer sanitation to ensure that there's hygiene in those particular schools, so that we ensure that, Chairperson, that education is not interrupted. But to the TCTA, I think I'll come in the next round, Chairperson, because I think I've exhausted the 3 questions limit that I'm afforded. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't see the minister on, Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, Minister. My apology. There, I see you now.
Fine. I'm on and off, Chair, because of connectivity. I'm sorry for that. And with the first question of Honorable Reddy, I'll speak to him later on. But the fact is, we'll have to respect and their rules that are enshrined in the Constitution. Will intervene to a certain point. We are supposed to allow municipality to consent to the action plan. So currently, Chair, before the president unveiled the entire plan to the meeting on the 30th of April, we are unable really to speak into detail about that plan, because that plan must then be adopted. So we'll know that we're going to hold them accountable based on the plan that has been agreed by all parties. And the people with expertise, surely they are going to be part of that. We have already developed 4 streams, even the stream on security matters as well as risk matters that are caused by water mafias. We do have all that. We've tabled all that, but now what is left is to table the entire plan and be adopted. And I'm sure that is going to be adopted, because all municipalities, without any exception, they are looking forward to be assisted. So when they want to be assisted, they must open up. But you cannot just wake up one morning and run to a municipality, take over. Those equitable share, they are voted to municipalities, not to us. We can be able to control our grant, WISG and RIBIC, but the MIC, the USTG were unable to do that up until we have an agreement that I'm sure we're going to get by this month end. Let me also appreciate these questions from Honorable Ditebe. On Machabeng, as I reported here, Chair, that we all know that Machabeng is owing Val Central 9.2 billion or 9.4 billion. We entered to several negotiations to an extent where municipality went to a special council meeting to adopt the new payment plan because they were paying 12 million per month. And we said we cannot sustain such a big debt with 12 million per month. So they then offered to pay 30 million per month, which is going to be reviewed after 3 months. And the reason why we want to review that, want to check how much are they collecting. Remember, there is an intervention by the provincial government. They have sent an administrator there in Machabeng. So Machabeng has, in our last meeting, have also allowed us to go through their books, because we want to go through their books and check who are other debtors that they are paying. They are paying how much? Is this 30 million the only thing that they can afford? So we've given them 3 months to say that they must up their revenue collection. So as from end of March 2026, they've paid 30 million, which we've agreed upon that we're going to assess over 3 months. So currently we're busy with that assessment. When it comes to the SLA, the board has met to look at the proposals of that SLA. By end of this week, they should have signed that SLA, but there is a broad agreement on that SLA. Chair, on the water reliability, as well as the refurbishment of the infrastructure of water, we can assist as we are doing with through our WISG as well as our regional infrastructure bulk supply. Maybe Grant, maybe Chair, sometime we must send the portfolio committee all the information, the data on both RIBIC and WISG to say in which municipality how much have we allocated, how far are we on how many projects, and in the areas where we have changed the schedules 5 to be schedule 6 to use our entities to be an implementing agent because municipalities have failed. We can happily do that, Chair, provide that information to the portfolio committee. Thank you very much, Chair.